I found out right after convention that my dad had stage 4 lung cancer,
Hmm.
and I had to go leave Texas, go to Michigan to take care of my mom and take care of my dad. Both of my sisters had just started school. They're both professors at universities, and so I was lucky enough and so grateful that I had my doTERRA income to pay my mortgage so that I could leave my practice because I didn't have time to work because I was taking care of my parents. I was up there for several months. My dad passed away in November. We had to move my mom down to Texas. I had to put everything on hold. I was able to have a steady enough income to cover the bills and take care of things and be able to be with my parents. And at that point, I was like, wait a minute here. This is better than I thought because I can do this anywhere. I can do this from my computer. I can do it by phone. And it was just opened up a whole new world to me. It was kind of like a not a great way for that to happen, but I was like, it showed me what location freedom meant. And that was like just like the biggest light bulb for me.
Hello, friends. Welcome to those just joining. My name is Andy Goddard, and I believe that you were born to create. And doTERRA just happens to be the very best vehicle for creating, whether you're creating better health, better spaces with loved ones, time freedom, whatever it is you're creating. doTERRA is a power tool for partnering. Natalie and I love to create success. We have been partnering with our own leaders for at least 18 years. Today, we are bringing to you a success story, which I think is pretty unique. I don't want to give too much away, but Dr. Janet Roark, um, she's been with doTERRA for quite some time, I believe, but we're going to let her share more of her journey. So, welcome. How are you doing, friend?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I've been literally listening to you for over a decade, and I just can't believe I'm actually here with you today on a Wednesday call.
It's an
It's
honor.
amazing.
You're so thankful to have you. Thank you for your time. Let's just jump in. Tell us where you're
Yeah.
from, more about your journey.
Awesome. I am a veterinarian in Central Texas. And so I saw all the Texas people on here. Hi, Texas. Shout out
Yay.
to all you guys and everybody watching the replay. We have an amazing doTERRA contingency down here. And yeah, I started doTERRA. I started using doTERRA in 2014. So it's been a minute. And I actually, somebody was talking about past tense earlier. And I was like, that was my gateway oil, right? I had horrible tension in my head I was on like three different medications for it and medications for the side effects of the medications. Like a lot of stories. And it was not good. And it was starting to affect my blood work. And I was like, there has to be a better way. And I'm going to share this story because a lot of people ask me like, how do I talk to my veterinarian about essential oils? And it was one of my clients that talked to me about essential oils, but she was also my friend. And so we actually rode horses together, and she was like, I haven't seen you in so long. I would love to just like meet up and let's go get some Tex-Mex. And in Texas, if somebody invites you to have Tex-Mex, saying no to queso is like illegal here. So we went and had some queso together, and she was sharing with me about these essential oils. I was telling her kind of about my head tension, and she was like, "Well, you should try this oil." And she gave me an experience, and I was like, "Okay." And then I bought some, and then just kind of used them. It started working so effectively that um I was fascinated, and I was like, I had never thought of essential oils as like woo woo. I know that's a lot of people think that, but I never thought that. I was like,
Hmm.
these are cool. How do they work? And I went straight to the research. So that's just like the way my science brain works. And so I was like, well, is there any science supporting how these work? And surely enough, there was hundreds, if not thousands, of research articles supporting how they worked, why they worked, etc. And so I just straight in went into the science of it. And of course, with research, a lot of the studies that are done in research are also done on animals, so animal model type research. And so it was a very easy transition for me after digging into the science to start using them with animals in my practice. And so that's kind of like how I got started. I didn't even know that there was a doTERRA business for two
Mm.
years though. So I was like, my apply did not do me any favors. So I just didn't know. And so I was buying a bunch of oils and then selling them to my clients out of my
Mm.
truck retail. And because that's how I did it with medications and things like that. And so I did it the wrong way in the beginning. And then somebody who was a cross line of mine said, asked me, what rank I was in doTERRA, and I didn't know what she was talking about. So she's like, "Oh, girl, let me help you." So she sat me down and taught me the compensation plan. I was like, why has no one told me this before? This is amazing. There's
Wow.
actually some potential here. And then, so I actually started building a business in 2016,
Mm.
ranked very quickly up to silver. I wanted to go to
Wow.
leadership and so I had to hit silver by February of that year to go to leadership. That was a big motivator for me. And so I did. We hit silver in February, gold in July. It was a BOGO month, so we just went crazy. And then, and that year I went to convention. It was incredible, and I was very much like I have to get in the room as much as possible. And so I just want to encourage everybody watching that that is a big part of my story and
Mm.
a big way to stay connected, to stay involved, to stay passionate about things in the long haul. And I was so grateful I got to go to convention that year because I found out right after convention that my dad had stage 4 lung cancer,
Mm.
and I had to go leave Texas, go to Michigan to take care of my mom and take care of my dad and all the things that come with a major diagnosis like that, right? And both my sisters had just started school. They're both professors at universities, and so I was lucky enough and so grateful that I had my doTERRA income to pay my mortgage so that I
Mm.
could leave my practice because I couldn't work during
Mm.
that time. I didn't have a license in Michigan, and of course I didn't have time to work because I was taking care of my parents. And so I was up there for several months. My dad passed away in November, and that just put a big wrench in things. We had to move my mom down to Texas. I had to put everything on hold, even with doTERRA. But thank goodness, um, you know, God really protected me by helping me get to gold and by
Mm.
motivate like I was motivated to get to gold, and I was a steady gold for all that time. And so I was able to have a steady enough income to cover the bills and take care of things and be able to be with my parents. And at that point I was like, wait a minute here. This is better than I thought because I can do this anywhere. I can do this from my computer. I can talk to, hop on a call with my leaders. I can do it by phone. I don't have to be physically present in the room with people like I do with my practice. And it was just opened up a whole new world to me. It was kind of like not a great way for that to happen, but I was like, it showed me what location freedom meant. And that was like just like the biggest light bulb for me. Um, and then I honestly didn't really super focus on doTERRA. I had to get back to my practice, life happened. We were taking care of my mom, like all the things. And then what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago, I qualified for Diamond Club, and the one of the people at corporate called me and it was like, "Hey, are you going to sign up for Diamond Club?" And I was like, what? Again, I was like, do I even qualify for that? I didn't know, and all I had heard from stage that I remember was Diamond Club is really hard. You have to go all in, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, I have zero capacity for that. I can't,
Yeah.
like, that's a lot. I don't know about all that. But they had changed some of the requirements for Diamond Club over the years. And so I looked into it and I was like, she was like, you should just apply. And I was like, okay. So I applied. I got in and I was like, okay, we're gonna do this thing. And we did. We ended up like 14th in Diamond Club that year. I did and we got to platinum after like doing almost nothing for several years. And so then I was like, okay, we're gonna go all in again. And then we hit platinum, we got 14th in the Diamond Club. I was like, we're doing this again. This is like crazy good momentum. The next year I did Diamond Club again. We graduated, and then last year, last September, I was like, this is the year. This is the year we're going diamond. I've never done doTERRA full time. I still haven't done doTERRA full time, but I do it part-time and go all in during seasons. And doTERRA Diamond Club was a major catalyst for me. And that year I was like, we're going diamond. Last year, I have to tell you, so last year we were doing Diamond Club and I was like, I'm gonna sign up for this, but I don't know if we're gonna meet the qualifications for September. So September, you have to have 12 team enrollments, and two of those have to be personal. And it's also the week of convention that, we have a week that we're going to be in Utah for convention. And I also had the biggest test besides my vet boards that I've ever taken because I got certified to become a veterinary animal chiropractor. And so I took my chiropractic certification so I was studying like crazy that I had to dedicate time for that. And then I also had surgery on my foot that month. And so I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be able to fit Diamond Club in here, but we're going to try and make it work. Rallied the team, did a lot of prep in August. And then in September, I was like, we just need our 12 and then we can, hit Diamond in November, which is usually our biggest volume month. And then we were going through September and I'm like, oh my gosh, where is all this volume coming from? It made no sense at all. All I have to say, it was kind of a miracle. And I was like, what? Like it was like we were getting crazy big volume. And I'm like, oh, I start looking at the numbers. I look at the numbers every day. I'm a numbers girl. I have a spreadsheet. We look at the numbers every day. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, wait a minute. We might hit diamond in September. Who hits diamond in September for the first time? Like nobody does that. And I was like, so we get and it was one of those months where I was like the last day I ended up staying up till midnight, like working with people and
Uh,
getting those last enrollments in. But we did. We reached diamond in September. And then we hit it again in November and again in December last year. So it was so
wow.
exciting and so fun. And I was like, here we go. Let's go. It's so much fun. So big shout out to leadership program, Silver Club, Diamond Club. Right now I'm in Masters Club. It's amazing.
That's so incredible. Oh my goodness. Well, can we all just give a huge shout out to you for the success you've created, for the ripples, the massive impact. Diamond is so amazing, and I love this comment by Becky that you did it part time. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't like you had to sell your practice and go in full time with DoTerra. That's so cool, and I love what it created for you when you were caring for your parents. That's just amazing. So. Congratulations.
Thanks. I just I remember that first leadership that I went to that I was so excited about and I just cried like the whole leadership. I was just like so honored to be there and so humbled and I remember I can't even remember who it was on stage. They went up and they were like they had I don't remember if they were Blue Diamond or what. I honestly don't remember anything, but I do remember something they said. And they said uh it had taken them longer to reach diamond than, at that time there was like people hitting diamond in a month, like their
Hmm.
first month in, and people are still doing that today, and it is incredible. But they were like, it took me a little bit longer, but I have one thing to say, and that's as long as you don't quit, you can get to diamond. And
Yeah.
I latched onto that and I was like, okay, as long as I don't quit, I'm going to get to diamond. And I truly believe that. And so I want to also encourage everyone here that that is very, very true. And
Mhm.
I definitely had like a long period where I was super busy with other things in life, but I
Mhm.
was still educating when I could. And, I love teaching about essential oils. Teaching is like, I'm very much on the education side of things.
Mhm.
I love teaching about the safety of essential oils with animals because a lot of people are worried about using them with their pets, how to use them with animals, being very problem focused and like, okay, so you
Mhm.
have an itchy dog. What can we do to help that
Mhm.
itchy dog? And same thing with the people, right? Okay, okay, your
Mhm.
dog is overweight or your cat is overweight. Like, what can we do to help you move more so that they're following you around? And
Mhm.
then, incorporating the human side of things as well. So, but yeah, as long as you don't quit, you can get to diamonds.
That's amazing. Well, do you mind breaking down for us a little bit more kind of the mechanics of how you built? Obviously,
Yeah.
you're a vet. You're amazing. Um, I assume you didn't just build a diamond by selling oils to your pet owners. Like, t talk to us about who's your audience? How did you build online? Did you build in person? T Talk to us more about that.
Yeah, so for me, I was very, very busy, especially in the beginning. I was working two full-time jobs and squeezing doTERRA in the middle of that.
Mm.
So I was working about 80 hours a week and then
Wow.
doing doTERRA also. And because I just knew I'm like this steady income that can be there.
Mm.
And if we can get to like a certain level, it's quite lucrative, to be honest. You can make a good paycheck with it, and I have found that to be very true. So I for me I had to do it on the phone or online because I had 30 minutes at lunch to be able to like talk to people. And I did a lot of one-on-one. I did on the weekends, I would do like I would go to a barn and do a class at a barn, do like a demo on a horse. And then everybody at the barn would enroll. So I would do in person. I did a few vendor events in the beginning. I haven't done that since 2020. But I definitely did some of that just to get kind of known in the community. And then I was like, my whole mentality was how do I reach more people? I want to save all the animals in the world, right? Like that's like I want to save all the people and save all the animals. And the only way to do that is to reach beyond one-on-one, beyond my local community. And so for me, I went online and I also had to make a decision early on. Okay, am I only going to teach this stuff to people on my doTERRA team? Because that's what a lot of people were doing back then. Or do I want to help everyone? And I made the decision early on that I'm like, I'm going to help everyone. I don't know whose doTERRA team they're on. The people need to know this information. I have, a lot of education around this, and I'm going to help people. And so I started helping people a lot for free back then. But it was. I remember at Thanksgiving, I was helping people, just like people were messaging me on Facebook, and so I was helping people with their animals. And it was like 5 hours on Thanksgiving. And my sister
Mm.
was like, Janet, you need a website. Like, I'm going to build you a website. You need to start doing consultations. So I was like, okay, I'll start doing consultations and things like that. So, but it was very much like I had an upline and an upline team, and you're very good at demonstrating this, that was not just for the downline only. It's for everyone, and opening up the doors, and the cross-line collaboration was there since the very beginning for me. And some of my best friends in doTERRA and my best friends in life are people who are not on my team, not in my upline. They're cross-line people. I have all my cross-line besties that I love to see. We have like a little pod and everything, and it's so encouraging and uplifting. And I don't know any other company. I don't know any other place where you can get this kind of like unity
Mhm.
and just love.
Mhm.
everywhere. There's enough for everyone, and this
Mhm.
like abundance kind of mindset that is
Mhm.
everywhere, and it's just so incredible. But yeah, I did a lot online, and then the online kind of took off. And so I actually spent a lot of my time doing like webinars and teaching online. And I love it because I can, as soon as we're done, we turn off the computer, I can go back to my life, I can see appointments, things like that. And so that worked really, really well for me. It still works really well for me. And I absolutely love it. Recently, I started getting involved with several kind of alternative veterinary organizations. So, like
Mhm.
acupuncture, I do acupuncture, I do chiropractic, and I am in like the holistic space a lot, which I wasn't in the very beginning. It's kind of
Mhm.
evolved into that over the past decade. And so, a lot of those veterinarians that are looking for alternative options have reached out to me, and we have many, many veterinarians on our team now. So it's very exciting to help them to incorporate essential oils into their practice and with their clients and things like that as well. It's really,
Mhm.
really impactful all over the world. It's incredible.
That's amazing. Well, you've clearly been a blessing to so many. We've known about your work with oils and animals. I know you've contributed to books like the Essential Life book.
Hmm.
I think you've got your own book, right?
Yes, it's not currently available though.
Okay.
So it's only
So
available digitally.
check eBay, or you've got how can people get it digitally?
I think they can get it on Amazon, or I think it's on Amazon Kindle. You can get the Kindle version.
And
Uh,
what's it called?
uh, it's super creative. It's Essential Oils for Pets guidebook.
Essential oils for pets. Love
Yeah.
it. With your name.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. That is so cool. Well, I couldn't agree with you more about the power of cross line. I think that's one of the most untapped um, assets that we have. So many people love to cry, "Oh, my upline isn't showing up the way I want. They've retired. They're checked out, whatever." Or I've had straight up conflict with my
Mhm.
upline. Great. Love it for what it is and reach Crossline. You will find a treasure trove
Yeah.
of beautiful people who are so happy and willing to, lock arms and cheer for you and it's just there's just some magic that happens when you have no vested interest in each other's success. You're
Yeah.
just doing it for straight up like altruism, And I loved your comment. You said, you were talking about this the community that we build in the process. And then you said, I love how it brings unity.
Hmm.
And I never realized that the word unity is in community.
Oh,
And I thought it was
yeah.
an interesting word choice that you made. Um, but that's really what it brings. Like it brings this oneness
Hmm.
where, you know, there probably wasn't before. And so when we're one, when we're united with other people, it's magic. It's so powerful. So thank you for giving a shout out to that.
Yeah. Love it.
Somebody actually just reached out to me on Facebook and they said, on one of our previous calls, we talked about the power of partners. And they're like, they go off on their upline and they're like, what do you think about switching teams? And I'm like, oh, I have strong feelings about switching teams. We believe in blooming where you're planted. If you need different support, create it.
Hmm.
Reach crossline, reach like sideline. Like it doesn't matter who you partner with. There's so many people in doTERRA. Just connect online, connect in person, and build that support team that you're seeking. Like don't it's kind of like with parents, like so many people have so many victim stories about their parents and the way they were raised. Well, if you want something different, go create it. Go create a
Exactly.
family of choice. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying abandon your family of origin. I'm just saying there's powerful healing and partnership in a family of creation and partners of creation. So sorry I just had to rant there for a minute.
I love it. That's so true, though. I always say that. Like you have the family that you're born with and the family that you choose. And I
Yeah,
think that friendships are a big part of that as well. So I totally agree
for
with you on
sure.
that.
So true. Well, you have had a journey full of opposition and so many, like your father's health journey and then his passing, taking a break, caring for your mother. Talk to us about the mindset. What would you say if you could characterize the success mindset that's needful in doTERRA? What would you say that is, and how do you get that mindset?
I I have a hard time with mindset. I'm such a science girl. So I love this question because you guys are very like so good at this. And I want to say, I don't know. Do you remember? You probably don't remember the first time I met you guys. I think it was at that leadership. And I was like, my upline was there and she's like, oh, there's Natalie and Andy Goddard. We gotta go introduce you. And I was like, no, they're so awesome. They don't know who I am. I cannot, what would I say? I was fangirling is what I was doing. I'm like, they're so incredible. I absolutely love them. And she's like, she grabs me and she like takes me over and introduces me. And Natalie gives me a big hug and you start talking to
Oh,
me and you were just like super nice and just I remember thinking, wow, they're just like normal people. Like
we're as normal as they come. I don't,
and
yeah.
I was like, and then I was like, and then I got a little more confidence, and then I started meeting some of these other like kind of like big like heroes in doTERRA, I call them, right? And I met that as I was meeting these incredible people that I have learned so much from and adored, behind my computer screen. I was like, oh they're just normal people. They're just normal people. And I want to say that that was because I am just like a country girl in Texas. Like I'm just like I always tell people I'm like the weird country cousin in doTERRA. That I was just like, oh, they're just real people. And that just gave me the confidence to be like, they're just normal. Just be normal. Like that's all people want is they want authenticity, they want realness. They connect with people not because of how
Mhm.
eloquently you speak or how smart you are or, anything like that. They connect with you because you get them. They
Mhm.
see themselves in you and I want to say that for my mindset, I was like, I want to help everyone. I
Mhm.
want to, as many whoever wants my help, I will help. But I also know that I'm not for everyone, and those are not my people. And the sooner I got to that, where I'm like, oh, those are not my people. Okay, whatever. We're gonna focus on the people who are my people. That helps to not drag you down. You get like the rejection and you get the negativity and you get the like the haters. I get that in the vet world all the time. Oh, you're a
Mhm.
holistic vet? Meh. You
Mhm.
don't know what you're talking about, crazy. And I'm like, okay, obviously you're not my person. You do
Yep.
you. Eventually you might have a health thing like I did and you might start seeking alternative things and I'll be here when that happens. But in the meantime, you do you, I'll do me. And I just stayed true to myself and for me, a lot of it is as far as mindset goes, is trying to stay out of the negativity, out of the negative self-talk, which
Mhm.
I have really struggled with over the years. I struggled with
Mhm.
dark, dark, dark depression,
Mhm.
horribleness, and um, honestly, I was on like tons of medications way before I found doTERRA, and then I
Mhm.
for that, and essential oils have saved me out of that. So the cool thing is we have essential oils that help
Mhm.
with emotions and mindset. So
Mhm.
you're like, need some positivity, put on some motivate, It's like how cool is it that we have oils that help with
Yeah.
the brain in that aspect as well as with the emotional aspect as well as the physical aspect and when your emotions are in line your behaviors can start to get in line and
Mhm.
then you can do those things where it's like okay I have 30 minutes okay am I gonna like just rest and chill is that what my body needs which sometimes it does or can I call someone and for
Mhm.
me I believe in God and so when I close my eyes and I'm just like, I'm quiet for a minute, which is hard
Mhm.
sometimes with what I do because my brain is always going a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
And if a name drops into my mind, I'm
Mm,
like, okay, I need to contact that person. And I immediately contact that person. So to me, that's like obedience to God, right? Is like, okay, God, that person, maybe it's for doTERRA. Maybe they just need a kind word. Maybe they just need to know someone's thinking about them.
yeah.
And just reaching out with no agenda to say,
Mm,
hey, you were on my mind. You were on my heart today. How are you doing? And have that conversation. And it's about with
mm,
being willing and being able to do that and to set yourself up for success by using the tools that we have literally in our pocket on our desk right now. So I
wow.
think that that is a big part of it's not always like some huge strategy thing. I actually don't have strategy very high in my strengths, but I do have achiever and I like goals. So sometimes I'll
I
make a
love it.
goal like I was like, we're going diamond last year and we
Hmm.
did. So
I love that. Well, would you mind talking a little bit more specifically about your journey with depression? I know you said that was before
yeah.
doTERRA, but
Yeah.
what products, what oils have you found to support in that journey?
Yeah, so I do a lot of different things. The thing that made the biggest difference for me was it was before VMG came out was the Lifelong Vitality products. And so for
Mhm.
me, getting so the gut, now I know, I didn't know back then, but now I know that the gut is what creates the majority of your serotonin. And when you have low serotonin, you have depression. And so that is just the science behind it. And so my gut was out of whack. And so getting on LLV, getting on probiotics, the PB Restore was massive for me when that came out. And Terrazyme, I take Terrazyme with every single meal. And getting healthy in that regard, getting my cells healthy and well, got my brain healthy and well. And of course, essential oils are a big part of that. So I always carry Melissa with me. Melissa on my thumb, pressed to the roof of my mouth when I'm feeling anxious and overwhelmed, or feeling just really, really stressed. And then I use a lot of bergamot. Bergamot is another big one that I'll just take under my tongue every single day. And that also helps with a lot of physical things as well, but definitely with the dark feelings and things like that. And then I always have this guy with me. So I just put it on right before here. Balance, my number one, my bestie. And I literally put this on like 10 times a day. And this is what
Wow.
keeps me grounded. It keeps me, and the animals love the smell of it too. So
Mhm.
bonus when you're working with the animals. And I like Intune when I need help focusing. I use a lot of Motivate in the morning, peppermint to wake me up, those sorts of things. When I'm feeling really when my dad died, I went through he was like my rock. He was my
Wow.
biggest fan and how like just the most incredible man. I was so blessed to have an amazing dad and I'm so grateful for that. And I try to focus on like the good things. But man, it was a hard time. But I we had the emotional oils at that time. And so they had recently come out, and I had the whole roller bottle set with me, and I used Peace, Console like crazy. I was like bathing in it, and Forgive as well. For I don't always need it to forgive other people, but I
Mhm.
do need it to forgive myself a lot of times because I'm one of those people that's like, well, what could I have done differently? Who could I have called? What could I have done better? I'm constantly, beating myself up about that sort of thing. And so forgive was huge in my healing. I still use it. So I have like the little roller bottle set in like a little carrying case and I carry it with me everywhere I go. Sometimes I use all six of those babies every single day, just depending on the day. Having all the
I love
emotions.
that.
So
That is so, so powerful, right? We have so many tools at our fingertips, and emotions really are at the root of so many other issues. So that's so, so great. Um, so I'm sure we have a lot of people on this call or watching the recording um, with vets in their life. And you said that's one of the most common questions you get. How
yeah.
do I present doTERRA to my vet? Um, is do you want to speak to that? What? What's your
Yes.
coaching for people
So,
on that?
what I tell people when they ask me that is vets are people too.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it doesn't always feel like that because you're like, see them for 15 minutes and you're like, okay, oh, my dog needs the things and they're rushing off to their next appointment. Being a veterinarian, it comes with a lot of pressure. It comes with a lot of stress. It comes with a lot of anxiousness. We always are thinking, what could I have done better? What could I do better next time? Like that's just how our brain works. It tends to attract perfectionist type people. It tends to attract kind of introverts as opposed to, they tend to go into animal medicine instead of human medicine because they're like, I don't want to be around people, but dogs
Mm.
don't come in by themselves. Unfortunately, we didn't really think about that as we got into vet school, but 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 I started essential oils because I had a friend that reached out to me and wanted to hang out and said, hey, I have something that might help with that problem that you just were talking to me about. Would you be open to trying that? And so I had an oil experience with a friend of mine. If one of my clients who I wasn't friends with would have done that, I would have been like, no, thank you. Please have a nice day. But they were my friend. So if you don't have a good relationship with your vet, you can develop one. Absolutely. We need friends too. But I would say go, don't go trying to like enroll them so they'll be your next builder. That was never my friend's intent. My friend just wanted to help a friend and gave me an oil experience that was incredible. I started digging into the science myself. Most veterinarians don't really have time for that these days. So have some of that on the ready if they're like, well, what is the science behind this, because we are curious about that sort of thing. We are
Mhm.
curious and open to a lot of things in by nature. We're always wanting to learn. We're learners by nature, and so I would say just be ready with that and just love them as a human.
Mhm.
We aren't always seen as humans. We're service professionals, and so they're like, hey, I need you for this service. Okay, bye. It's like your waiter. See them as a person. They're not just there to serve you food. They're human beings that have feelings and have problems, and stress is a big one. I mean, you can start there. I encourage people, like if they have a big clinic that they're going to, you can always do like the diffuser challenge. Do you remember when we did that, where you bring in the diffuser with a couple of oils, have the reception area smell amazing, and to ask them what they used and things like that. So that is another thing that you can do if you don't quite have a relationship with them and you want to approach that. It's getting harder nowadays because a lot of veterinary practices are owned by corporate now.
Mhm.
They're corporations. The corporatization of veterinary medicine has happened very recently, like in the last 10 years or so. And so a lot of veterinarians don't get to practice the kind of medicine they want. They have to follow protocols. They're running vet practices like businesses instead of like what I do. I have my own practice. I get to do work when I want, where I want, and how I want, and get to practice the art of medicine instead
Mhm.
of just protocols and trying to bring in the dollars and as many surgeries as possible and so on and so forth. Which is it's a big business. But if you can go to private practitioners um, that own their own practice, it's you can usually find those people in every city. It's a little harder in rural areas, but it is something that everybody needs. Everybody needs essential oils to help live a
Yeah.
better life. So.
So, so powerful. Um, what are the other most common questions that you get from people? I mean, you touched on oil safety with animals.
Mhm.
Do you want to just speak to that for a minute? So
Yeah,
they have that
so
speech on repeat. Just
So one of the things that I love, and I just did like a leader thing with Dr. Riggs. It was so much fun recently here in Texas, and oh man, it was absolutely an incredible experience. But one of those statistics I found was that 68% of homes have a pet in them in the
mm,
United States, and I think only 37% have a child in the home. And so there's actually more people that have pets than kids
wow.
in the United States. And so I was like, why don't we have this conversation more? And I'm encouraging doTERRA to do that as as on a bigger level, on a corporate level. But so one of the biggest questions I get asked are essential oils safe for cats, especially because there's a lot of bad information on the internet since the invention of chat and AI. It has actually gone backwards in the quality of the information being provided on the internet. So my answer is yes, but there's good oils and there's bad and there's doTERRA. Quality matters when it comes to that because the adulterated oils are adulterated with things that are quite toxic to pets. And so a lot of veterinarians are like, you can't use oils because they're toxic to pets. And I'll say most oils are toxic to pets because of the adulteration.
Mm,
doTERRA, not so much. There are three that you want to stay away from with dogs and cats in particular, and that is tea tree, wintergreen, and birch,
mm,
just because of GI issues. And with tea tree, they can get some scary neurologic things. They go away usually within 24 to 48 hours after you remove the oil, but it's one that I don't use with dogs or cats. You can use them with horses, you can use them with goats, you can use them with everything
mm,
else, just not dogs and cats. And so quality matters. Um, Dilution matters. They're small. A 10-pound cat is going to be very different than a 150-pound human.
mhm.
And so we need to dilute accordingly. And if you're diffusing, just don't use, 50 drops of essential oil in your diffuser and you'll be good to go. So
I love it.
there's my super easy, quick safety
Quick and
recommendation.
easy. That's so, so great. Well, I saw a comment from Rosie. She says, just a plug for Janet's membership. I've been a part of it for 2 years. She's probably not going to say anything about it. I've homesteaded for 40 years. Always use herbs and plants on my animals. So great to have access to her knowledge with using the oils too. So, can you talk to us about what that is and how that works?
The membership?
Uh-huh.
I can. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was allowed to. So yeah, I do
For
have
sure.
a membership. It's a EO Vet membership that is open to everyone. So
Awesome.
anybody can join. It is a paid membership. It's not free. And I do weekly Q&As in there. We get super non-compliant. It's part of the reason it's paid. We have protocols in there. It's been up for over 8 years now. So there's 8 years worth of protocols, webinars, information. It's like an encyclopedia on your computer that is amazing. We do have an optional Facebook group as well, but the majority of it is the website, the portal. And it was just my birthday. And so we're actually doing a birthday special right now where you can
Oh,
get
fun.
half off of the membership. I think we're just going to be running that for a few more days. So I'll leave it open until Saturday. I'll say that. I was actually going to close it on yesterday, but forgot to turn it off. So the
So
coupon, the
what's the
coupon
web
code
address?
is what?
Sorry, what was the web address?
It's essentialoilvet.com, and
Okay.
then you can just click on the main button there. And it'll have the link to the membership. And it is the coupon code. You have to use the coupon code. It's BDAY47. So I just 7 is the birthday code. So go ahead and use that.
So
Yay.
that
So
is so, so fun. Thank you so much for sharing that. I
yeah,
had no idea the stats. 60 some
right?
percent pets
Yeah.
and 30 some percent children.
Humans. Yep.
That's mind blowing.
It is. So we spent a lot of
Wow.
time talking about babies, but we need to talk about our fur
Yeah,
babies too.
sure. Well, you mentioned the compliance. I'm super familiar with FDA, but
Yep.
I'm pretty clueless when it comes to FDA for pets and animals. So tell how does that work? Like, do they have the same set of
They
rules?
don't. They don't. The FDA, well, I mean, yes and no. So we can't use drug terms for something that is not a drug, right?
Mhm.
So we can't say that an essential oil is antibacterial because there are
Mhm.
antibiotics, right?
Okay.
And so that is kind of like the quickest and easiest way I can explain that. I actually one of my jobs in a previous life before I went before I went full more full time into the online space. was my W-2 job was with in regulatory medicine. I was actually in regulatory medicine, and so I know the regulations very, very well. And I would say that the FDA doesn't care quite as much about animals as they do with people, but they do get kind of they don't like it when people use drug terms for things that aren't drugs, like herbs and oils and supplements and things like that. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, happy birthday. I had no
Yay!
idea. That's so fun to celebrate. I'm seeing lots of people celebrating you in the
Oh,
chat. That's so fun. Well, I would love if you have a minute just to open it up to questions if you
yeah.
can and come on live. I don't want to assume on your time and expertise, but if that many people have pets, gosh, there've got to be a lot of people with questions. And it could be about building doTERRA, it could be
Mhm.
about science. I'll bet that's a common question is, if you do want to present science to your vet, is that part of your membership or where do people find the science to present?
Yeah. There are, so I honestly just go to PubMed and just look up research articles. But I definitely post research articles in the membership as well. We do share the science when there's something super interesting. There are some veterinary specific articles that are out there. Some Italian veterinarians have done like clinical
Mm,
studies with dogs and cats in particular. And it's pretty fascinating stuff. And there's a lot more research than we know about. Not as much for dogs and cats, just because they aren't typical research type animals, but we can extrapolate a lot of data for them, like we do with humans as well. So, what I love about essential oils is that people there's actually more human studies being done now, and so we can
mm.
actually use humans as the research animals, and then extrapolate that over to our pets as well. So, super super awesome. It's kind of like a little turning of events that has happened
Yeah,
over the
I
years.
love that. Jacqueline mentions people who have pets spend a lot of money on them. Do you have any figures for us about
Oh yeah,
what
there
size
is
the industry is?
so just the pet I would say the pet food industry in the US is an $85 billion industry. And so it's definitely something that people spend money on. And I have noticed, of course, I have a very skewed view of essential oils in because I'm seeing the animals first, but I know a lot of people that will buy essential oils and supplements for their pets, but not
Mm.
for themselves because they want to put their animals first. And I feel, if you think about moms, they're going to put their kids first, right? And how many moms do you know, Andy, that are like, well, I started because my kid had a tummy ache and digestion was there. And so that was like my life-changing oil, right? Because of the
Wow.
kid. Not because of anything not the lack of sleep the mom was having or all the things that was going on with her. It was just like the baby. Well, it's like that with pets too. They're like, oh, my dog has this problem. I want to fix that. And then you can kind of ease into the human side from
Mm.
there because once they trust you and they see the benefits of the oils and the supplements with pets, then they're like, wait a minute, can you use this on people too? You're like, I'm like, yes, you can.
Believe it or not,
Yes, I love
we're all
it.
made of the same stuff. That's so cool.
Exactly.
Okay, we have a question here from Erica. She says, what are some recent studies being available on PubMed with humans? Um, I'm sure there's bajillions, but
Yes.
any
So
specific ones?
I don't know if you can actually post the link to the doTERRA study. So doTERRA is actually leading the way
Mm.
when it comes to research on like clinical research on humans. And doTERRA has a spot on their website where you can actually look up all of those research articles. And it is pretty incredible what they have going on. They are leading the way as far as pharmacokinetics, which what that means is they're learning how long an essential oil stays in the body at a therapeutic level internally, topically, aromatically. Okay. And so that is going to give us really good information about how frequently we recommend people reapply those or retake those internally. And I don't know of anybody else that is doing that. I think doTERRA is the only one that's doing that. So go check that out. That is pretty incredible what they're doing as far as studies with Serenity, with lavender, with all of the things. So, yeah, Rosie just posted the link. Thank you, Rosie. Rosie's like on it today. I love that. And so, yeah, so that is what I know about humans. There are always new studies going on. I haven't been in there super recently. So I don't know exactly what's going on. But yeah,
That's super
so
useful.
okay, I see a question from Dean. So can you address people allergies to cats, and oils and other ideas? So here's the thing about oil, allergies and cats. A lot of times people will ask me like, is there an oil I can put on my cat to make me not allergic to cats? And the answer is no, that's not how we're going to do this. If we're not going to just put a bunch of oils on the cat and then hopefully they won't be allergic to cats anymore. What you can do is take oils yourself if you're allergic to cats and address it that way. And then with cats, what people are typically allergic to is the saliva and then dander. And so because they groom themselves all over, cat bath, they have saliva all over. And so physical contact with the cat can cause the allergy reaction. And sometimes it's respiratory as well. So just breathing in the hair and the dander in an area that has a cat. And so I would recommend the lemon, lavender, peppermint, or the Tri-Ease. It works really, really well. Decreasing inflammation in your body overall is super helpful. And the VMG plus, taking that as well as the probiotics, which 70 to 80% of our immune system is housed in our digestive tract as well. So what an allergy is an immune response to a normal protein that your body is saying is abnormal. So it's causing a histamine reaction regarding that. And so I would recommend Tri-Ease, Terrazyme, PB Restore, and the VMG. And omegas are huge for allergies. And so the E omegas, double up on those if you are allergic. So if you normally take 3 a day, take 6 a day. So, but don't take them all at once. Just try and spread them out throughout the day. As I do 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, and 2 at dinner. If you have to double it up, which is also really good for depression too. I would have to throw that out there too. Higher amounts of omegas is good for overall health with a lot of different things: joint pain, brain health, cardiovascular health, things like skin health, allergies, respiratory health, and mental health as well. So, some pretty interesting studies about omegas and mental health actually that are pretty crazy. Um, I saw another question. Tiara, my dog got spayed and she gained 6 pounds. We didn't change her diet or exercise. What do you recommend for her hormones? So you can actually give the phytoestrogens to dogs. We had a couple of dogs that had recently that had spay incontinence. So they were actually leaking urine. And putting them on the phytoestrogens actually resolved that. And so you kind of have to play with the amount depending on the animal and what's going on, and depending on the weight of the dog. So I would say if you didn't change her diet or exercise and she gained weight, what I would encourage you to do, especially as dogs get to be like 2, 3 years old, their metabolism actually slows down. They're not puppies, they're not growing anymore. And so their metabolism naturally slows down. It's not just hormonal. And so we do need to decrease the amount we're feeding at that time. So just like us, we don't eat as much as a teenager, and can't maintain our weight if we're eating that much. Prioritizing protein is always really important. Nutrition and gut health is the foundation of health for animals, just like it is with people. And so addressing that nutrition component and decreasing the amount that you're feeding is probably the best place to start. And you might want to increase the frequency of exercise as well, especially as we get into the nicer weather and summer months here. Jacqueline says, I've used Tamer, E Omegas, and DDR for my dogs for years. That's awesome. Yes. And Wendy says, gut work for allergies. I had tons of animal allergies, no more at all due to any animals or feeds. Love doTERRA. So yes, addressing it from the human aspect is really important. Julie, oils and birds. Okay, let's talk about oils and birds for a second. So we use a ton of oils with chickens and turkeys and ducks, which are kind of the common, kind of like raised birds around here. And they are super tough when it comes to oils. So we usually do oils in their feed to maintain health, to help it prevent them from getting sick in the first place, addressing issues. I actually had one of my students just presented yesterday. She had a chick that was born in a duck nest. And the chick had, because duck eggs hatched a little bit later. The chick she thinks was kind of wedged in between the duck eggs, and her its legs were splayed. And she was trying splinting, she was trying all the things. We were doing topical oils with this poor little chick, and she didn't give up. A lot of people would have culled this chick, but her she left on a trip, and her husband accidentally, good happy accident, started giving the chick this feed that was designed for, that she had mixed up for the ducks, that had essential oils mixed in with it. And this chick, when she came back 5 days later, this chick's legs were totally straight. It had frankincense in there, and I'm like, oh, that's just like the most amazing story ever. So they tried a bunch of things. They tried nutrition and all the normal things that we do with chicks, and I'm like, this chick might not ever get better. That she tried splinting, she tried everything, and it was the internal oils, 5 days of internal oils, and this chick was walking around totally normal. She's a full grown hen now, and you can't even tell she ever had any problems. So that is a little different than diffusing around pet birds. So pet birds, when we talk about parrots, parakeets, cockatiels, things like that. They are outdoor animals that we have brought indoors, right? And so they're very sensitive. They have very sensitive respiratory tracts. And so you do need to be a little bit careful with what you use in the home. Like you can't use Teflon pans around them. You can't burn candles. There's a whole lot of things you can't do with birds. But when it comes to essential oils, if you're using doTERRA, you're actually going to be benefiting them. You, again, just don't want to diffuse strong amounts, like big amounts of essential oil around them. And they will, just because of their sensitive respiratory tract, but you can do oils internally, even with the teeniest, tiniest little birds. You can do oils topically with them. You can put a drop of balance on their perch. They absolutely love that. And most of the time, they do really, really well. Parrots love citrus oils, and so you can mix up a little feather mist with them. I do 10 to 20 drops of an essential oil in 4 ounces of water. Shake it up really well, because the oils obviously don't mix with the water, and then just like do a little water mist spray when you're giving them a little bath. It's so amazing. They really benefit from that. And one of the ladies on my team, her name is Steph Sayer. She's the botanical bird lady, and she is truly a bird expert and does a lot of essential oils education around birds. So I would encourage you go to check her out. Steph Sayer. I know she's on social media, and the botanical bird lady over there. I think she has like a free Facebook group that's called Flourishing Feathers or something like that. Yeah, if you want to go
Well,
check it
I'm seeing so many questions coming through, and I don't want to assume on your time. So if I mean, we're at the
I can
hour,
go.
so
I can go. I'm good. Or
if
if
you
you want
if
to
you
wrap
want
it
to
up, we can
go,
wrap it up.
totally on you. I just want to honor your time. So thank you so much. Um, Jacqueline also asked about PB Assist. I don't know if you hit on that one.
So PB Assist Plus, the kids pack has xylitol in it, and
Oh,
xylitol is extremely toxic to dogs.
okay.
So anything that is like sweetened with xylitol, so like our
Hmm.
toothpaste, the PB Assist Plus, the sachets, the what is it? The gum, um the mouthwash, all of that is sweetened with xylitol, which is really good for humans, very toxic to pets. So we do not use those at all with dogs and cats in particular.
Awesome. Somebody also asked about Correct-X. Is that safe with dogs and cats?
So Correctex actually has tea tree in it, and so I don't
Um,
use it with dogs and cats. I use it
okay.
a lot with horses, cattle, goats, things like that. But it does have tea tree in it, and so what I use instead, if you have like a little scrape or a cut on one of your animals, is use the after sun spray. It actually has
Hmm.
hyaluronic acid in it and aloe, and it is a really if you want like you don't want to
Hmm.
mix up your own like you know balm or salve, which I have
Mhm.
recipes for that you can totally do. But and I think it's actually I think it's in the oil life book as well as
Hmm.
one of those recipes.
Oh,
But use the after sun spray. It works really
hmm.
well and you can use that on every species and it's very effective as wound care. Mhm.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Ruth has a question about a colt who picked her eye and is likely to go blind. She suggested frankincense and Correct-X. Any other tips?
Yeah, so for eyes, I really like Immortelle around the
Mm.
eye. So you don't want to do oils in the eye, obviously. That's still a rule for animals too. But you can go around the orbit and it'll help decrease the inflammation in that area. The helichrysum is very healing to
Beautiful.
the cornea and things like that. If it's ulcerated, I keep doing the eye drops. Don't stop the eye drops that the vet gave. That is required for helping heal that ulcer if there's an ulcer, but we can decrease the inflammation, things like that. With frankincense is a great suggestion too, Ruth, but Immortelle is probably the one that I reach for the most for that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Jacqueline asks, I understand it's okay to diffuse all oils as long as dogs can leave the room. Is that true?
Yes. So
Okay.
as long as I usually tell people 3 to 4 drops of oil in your diffuser, leave the room door open if you can,
Mhm.
or have it in like a well ventilated area. I mean, obviously, if you have
Mhm.
like the room you're sitting in right now, Andy, like you
Yeah,
probably
very
don't
well
have to
ventilated.
open a door. It's very open. So like, depending on the size of your room and things like how vaulted your ceilings are and things
Yeah.
like that, then necessarily do that. I have a pretty small office. It's like a 10 by 10 office and my dogs come in here with the door closed all the time. And I'm, diffusing Shinrin Yoku right now. Totally safe. It's a big enough room. It's not that harsh on them. Some animals are more sensitive than others, but I would say, by and large, most of the essential oils are fine. If you notice they start panting more, or they start coughing or something like that, that just might be one that they're sensitive to, especially around Christmas time. Everybody wants to get those super spicy oils that smell so
Mhm.
yummy,
Mhm.
but they can be a little irritating to the respiratory tract for some animals, and so just pay
Oh,
attention and just say, oh, we maybe don't need to be diffusing quite so much cassia today, because that dog is a little sensitive to it or whatever. So, but most of them are totally fine.
perfect. Rosie asks, is the PB Restore capsule okay for dogs?
Yes, yep. So the
Okay.
capsules are fine. The
Okay.
packet not so much because that just the sweetener is xylitol.
Perfect. Tiara asks, what if my friend's bird keeps biting itself and causing little injuries under its wing?
Yeah, so that is self-mutilation is really common with birds that are not getting adequate stimulation or exercise. You think about a parrot that is used to flying around the Amazon and searching for food and things like that. And we're like, I think you're pretty. I'm going to put you in a tiny little cage and you can live the rest of your life there. They're also very social creatures. And so making
Mm.
sure that they're getting enough socialization and they can socialize with humans as well, but they need socialization, they need
Mm.
stimulation, they need sunshine just like we do. They need an adequate diet. I see a lot of birds that are not getting
Mm.
fed correctly because they're like, oh, we'll just do the seed mix. And it's a bird that needs more than just a seed mix. And seed
Mhm.
mixes are tricky because the birds will just pick out the seeds that they like and not eat all of them.
Mhm.
And so they actually won't get a full, um,
Mhm.
they won't get a full, the full nutrition aspect. So I
Mhm.
would say definitely, Tiara, have her follow Steph because she specifically specializes in bird behavior. That is what she does. And I would actually even suggest that she does a consultation with Steph Sayer because that is literally what she does. And she's helped so many people with feather picking and self-mutilation and things like that with their birds, with just helping them with some of the husbandry stuff, but also with essential oils. So again, for essential oils with a small bird, you would want to dilute it significantly, but you could do the
Mhm.
topical, diluted lavender and frankincense right there, and it would do a world of good. I like copaiba with birds as well.
Mhm. Okay, we're going to wrap with one last question. I'll bet people can go
Okay.
all day long. So somebody made a fly spray. I don't know
Hmm.
if it's yours or not, but they said that it only lasted 30 minutes, half water, half ACV, and half whole bottle of TerraShield. Any tips for flies
Yeah, so it depends on the flies and it depends on where you live. So typically
in
with
Houston?
uh, that should be sufficient in most areas, but oh, I see she's in Houston. So in Texas, the flies you can spray them with straight pyrethrin and they will shake off their wings and fly away. Like they're even like the most toxic fly sprays
Wow.
out there. They're really tough, and it's something that we're really worried about because there's some new flies out that are from
Mhm.
Mexico that they're not good for our economy right
Wow.
now for as far as livestock. So I would up it. So I would do at least a full bottle in that. What I have found here in St. Marcus that works really well is adding a bit of clove to it. So I add about like
Mhm.
50 drops of clove. And I'll add in citronella. You can add in lemon eucalyptus. You can add in, I usually will add in peppermint as well. It'll last a little bit longer. The harder thing about Texas in this time of year, especially, is that the horses are sweating a lot. And so the oils are not going to last super long term with that. If they're sweating off the oils, it's not gonna keep working. You're gonna have to keep reapplying. So find a mix that works really well for your area and go from there. You might need to just up your concentration a little bit.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Roark. We are so honored to have you with us, and thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing the ups and the downs and everything in between. I love how you emphasized how flexible doTERRA is as a business, that you're able to step away for multiple years and
Yep.
then come back. I don't know any other business. I mean, imagine a restaurant or a store or a coffee shop. Like if you stepped away for a couple years, you're done.
Mhm.
Like it's you're back to zero. And doTERRA is one of our leaders said doTERRA is the most forgiving business there is. And
Yeah.
so I love how you emphasize that and really showcase that. So thank you so much for coming on with us today. Any parting wisdom or words of encouragement for those who are with us today?
I just want to encourage you that doTERRA really is, yes, it's flexible. Some of your best friends are going to be here, and it is something that will continue to be amazing for years to come. I just reached Diamond just this last year, and it is still growing. doTERRA is still amazing. It's not like one of those companies where, oh, you have to get in at the beginning or you're never, nope, you can start where you're at right now give yourself a goal and just go for it because it is, people need this stuff now more than ever. And I want to say the best product that I have ever experienced, the best doTERRA product that there is the business
Mm,
is the opportunity. And people are women everywhere are really stressing about money right now. And an extra $500, an extra $1,000 a month can make a massive difference. And it's really not that hard to get there if you are bold and you
mhm.
leave the people who are not your people and focus on the people who are your people. And it's just an
Dang.
incredible thing. I just can't, I just love it so much. It's fun. It's exciting. I did Diamond Club. Everybody said it was going to be so hard, and I was like, this is actually really fun. Like nobody loses. Like even if you don't graduate, like everybody gets free oils. It's felt like Oprah. I'm like, you get an oil and points, and you get points. It's so much fun. So just go have fun with it. Don't stress about it. It's gonna be okay. I promise.
Well, thank you again so, so much. We're so, so grateful for you. Have a blessed day and happy birthday. And thank you all for joining us. And yeah, go share the love. Share
Mhm.
doTERRA's best product, which is the business.
Love it. Bye, everybody.
Okay, see you.